All right, guys. If you're tapping back in with the Coin Zone, I appreciate you guys for tapping in. I am Crypto with Paul. So we have a ton of things to go over right now on Monday, September 15th. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. Like I said, sub if you haven't already. If you're not following on X, that's crazy. Do that for me as well. See you guys starting to trickle in here. Let's get it going on X and YouTube. Make sure to interact with me. Let's talk about stablecoins, guys. We talked about the Genius Act extensively when that was passed recently. That has been very good and favorable for stablecoins, particularly USDC, USDT, things of this nature. Not so much algorithmic stablecoins, but our focus today will be specifically on Tether launching their own stablecoin that is native to the United States. Bo Hines is behind this. If you don't know who Bo Hines was, he was the head of digital assets, something like that, for the Trump administration. Let's see. Bo Hines, former executive director of the President's Council of Advisors on Digital Assets. That is very long-winded. Gosh darn. All right. Well, long story short, guys, bro left and he's now working at Tether, and they launched their own USAT. So yet another stablecoin that Tether can just mint out of thin air. Is that good or bad? Well, it's good for liquidity that will probably enter the crypto space. So if we're degens and we want to make money, it's going to be good in the long run, I'm assuming, if you're actually buying and holding. If you're on the sidelines, like Anthony Pompliano said earlier, the tweet that we looked at, we need to incentivize people to start investing in these things, because if you're not, you're just holding on to $1, you're going to sink over time. But is this a good thing? So we have Tether. We're going to turn our attention also after this to Hyperliquid, and then we also have Metamask. This is all today, within the past couple days, over the weekend. Okay. So 3 major companies, 3 major players in the space, right? In Tether, Hyperliquid, and Metamask, all issuing stablecoins. Now, we covered Metamask recently, I think a couple months ago. That was first announced and we covered it, maybe more recent than that. But now it's officially being rolled out, things of this nature. So let's start with Tether. They have a video that I also want to play actually as well, kind of like a little commercial. So we'll play that. But before we play that, let's just get into this article. This is from Tether directly, so tether.io. All right, guys, this is from a couple days ago over the weekend, right? Tether unveils USAT, its planned US regulated dollar, backed stablecoin, and will appoint Bo Hines as CEO of Tether USAT. CEO, guys. So, I mean, right off the bat, I mean, whatever conspiracy angle you want to work, that's fine. But put simply again, guys, Bo Hines was he answered to the president in regards to, what the hell did that say on Google just now? He was the executive director of digital assets, former executive director of the President's Council of Advisors on Digital Assets of the White House. Now, we've been covering and speaking about Bo ever since Donald Trump took office. There's countless videos of him saying very positive, very bullish things about crypto in general, and then especially when the Genius Act was starting to come out. So this, in my eyes, is Tether probably throwing a crap ton of money at the guy and saying, listen, brother, we want you here. And I guess he said, hey, Donnie, I'm gone, brother. Tether's giving me a lot of money. So that's one way to incentivize people, is throw them a lot of money. Now, I don't know. That's, that's my own, like I'm saying, we're having fun here, conspiracies, whatever. I don't know how much bro's getting paid, but to leave a nice job working for the president of the United States, a man he respected, to go leave and then go work for a crypto firm. That's pretty crazy. That's not something you see every day. Bo Hines is a well-connected man, and I think Tether kind of made a genius move, I'm not going to lie. So let's break this down. The introduction of USAT and appointment of Bo Hines marks Tether's next chapter in strengthening the US dollar dominance through transparency and innovation. Let's put air quotes there. Okay, we saw what the Russian guy said, advisor to Putin last week, about what he thinks the United States is doing, using stablecoins to basically get rid of our debt, but put it on the backs of the rest of the world. It's hard to actually refute or disagree with, honestly. But let's just break this down. Tether, the largest company in the digital assets ecosystem, today unveiled USAT, its planned US regulated dollar-backed stablecoin, along with the announcement and appointment of Bo Hines as Tether USAT's future chief executive officer. The simultaneous introduction of both the token and CEO reflects Tether's commitment to delivering a US regulated dollar-backed stablecoin backed by transparent reserves, strong governance, and American leadership from day one. Now, my question is, how is this different than Tether, than USDT? Why is this just native to the United States? Is it, again, another play to issue treasury bills and put them on the blockchain and put our debt basically on the blockchain to then issue that to the rest of the world and basically do what they did with the dollar, just on the blockchain? Basically, that's how we all see it. That's how a lot of people are interpreting it. Now, why is this quote unquote a bad thing maybe? Well, if you've been in crypto for a long time and you actually understand and respect and adhere to the principles that make the concept of decentralization different and an opportunity that the rest of the world, including you and me, can jump into, that brings power away from these old institutions that have been keeping this power and grip over the whole world for decades, well, then you don't like something like this, because this is basically just putting those old institutions in Wall Street back on the blockchain. What's the point? We're not getting away from the system. We're letting them use the technology for themselves. Now, that's inevitable, obviously, right? This is innovation. These banks, JP Morgan now, right? Jamie Dimon, who once crapped on Bitcoin for years, now they have their own stablecoin. Now they have their own blockchain. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, you name it. They're all doing this now, guys. However, the point is, there is a difference between centralized control with these people and decentralized and DeFi, decentralized finance on protocols built on ETH or ADA or Avalanche, etc. So you tell me in the comments, chat. I know why you guys are here. I know why some of you guys are here. This is a revolution. This right here is basically just giving the revolution up and saying, okay, well, now we want these guys to just continue to have the power. We'll see. Let's read into this more. Tether Group has also made the news for its high profitability, reaching more than 13 billion in 2024. That is facts. Tether has always been one of the most profitable businesses in history, I believe, literally of all time. Absolutely insane, and is on track to be similarly positive in 2025. The group is also among the largest holders of US Treasuries. There you go. What do we just say? The group is also among the largest holders of US Treasuries, ranked 18th ahead of Germany, South Korea, and Australia. So you're telling me a freaking crypto company basically has more US debt on their balance sheet than Germany, South Korea, and Australia? That is insane. This unmatched scale has made USDT the most widely adopted stablecoin globally. Yeah, USAT, okay, so not Tether, right? USDT, USAT will be established as a US regulated stablecoin designed to provide businesses and institutions with a digital alternative to cash and traditional payment rails. Governed by strict regulatory standards and backed by transparent reserves, USAT will set a new benchmark for compliance and accessibility for the US stablecoin industry. I mean, this is huge, guys. Again, this is big because Tether's genius for doing this. They snagged Bo Hines. Mind you, look at how young this guy is. 30 years old. That is absolutely insane. This guy's almost my age. And he has a seat under Donald Trump and now at Tether, one of the most profitable businesses of all time. How did bro at 30 get all this? We have to do a deep dive on Bo Hines one day, guys. This is insane. Look at this guy everywhere. This guy's been everywhere. Absolutely insane. But back to it. This is crazy. USAT will leverage the Hadron by Tether technology, the most advanced real-world asset tokenization platform. Anchorage Digital, the first and only federally regulated crypto bank, will be the Genius Act compliant issuer. Anchorage Digital. Interesting. Okay. Together, they will offer a solution for Tether USAT to launch fully regulated digital dollars. The new token will tap into the unmatched global distribution network of the Tether Group. Cantor Fitzgerald will act as the designated reserve custodian and serve as preferred primary dealer. Do you see what we're saying here, guys? Okay, Cantor Fitzgerald will act as the designated reserve custodian. That means for every USDA or whatever it is, USAT, that Tether mints, there will be a reserve of an actual dollar from that in Cantor Fitzgerald's bank. That is the exact reason why Donald Trump and Scott Bessent think that stablecoins are a massive innovation to keep the dollar as the global reserve currency. Gandhi, what's good? Appreciate you for tapping in, putting the comments on the screen. We love it. But this is basically what's going on. So, yeah, guys. More into this, I'm going to play a quick clip. Let's show you guys exactly what Tether is doing here. Okay? We're going to take a look at this little marketing commercial that Tether came out with for USAT. 30 seconds long, 32 seconds long. So let's play this clip and then come right back to it.
Meet USAT. $1, but just more practical. A stablecoin backed one-to-one with liquid and stable reserves. Pay instantly. Paid in seconds, not days. Because the internet doesn't need business days. Remittances that actually arrive before your family wonders if you forgot them. USAT is your money in your control. USAT, the power of the dollar at internet speed.
Okay, first of all, things that we have seen. Tell me this is not AI right here. Tell me this isn't AI.
USAT.
For sure, these people are AI. This is AI. Look at this diner. Who has lights like this in a diner, guys? What is this, a rave in a frat basement? Like, what is going on here? This is weird. But the point is, look, oh my gosh, it's so easy to spend a digital dollar now. Phenomenal. Not for me. Maybe we'll use it. We'll see what happens. Chat, if this is something that you would get into, let me know. Tether has a freeze/pause button, just like World Liberty Financial. Gandhi does not surprise me. This is what we're trying to warn you guys about. This is not DeFi. This is not decentralization or power back to the people. This is institutions still having all the control. And if they want to shut your shit off, they can. You guys get it? However, yes, this could bring an insane amount of liquidity to the space, which would pump your bags. If we get rate cuts in 2 days, and then, we saw Tether mint recently, last month or whatever it was, billions of USDT. I think Circle did the same thing recently. That is a lot of liquidity, guys. So just very, very, very crazy stuff. We have AI videos that Tether's coming out with to promote their own thing. CEO Paolo Ordoino says the company is launching their coin. I don't know. This guy has, I don't know how these people sleep at night, honestly. Like, how do you become so big? So big. What a big guy this is. Right? Like, how do you become so big in a space like this in such a short amount of time? Like, how do you go to bed at night knowing that, like, you created this massive billions and billions of dollars of a company that is basically at this point now chosen to lead this global digital dollar push by the President of the United States? Now, we've been following along what Donald Trump has been doing from the very beginning. There's a lot of insanity going on. What just happened with my mic? or my camera. My camera shut off. We love to see it. Great news. And we're back with no background. Love to see it, guys. Well, this is what's going on, right? Paolo Ordoino. Give me 1 second here. Ladies and gentlemen, not sure what just happened. And we're back. Sweet deal. So we're going to get back to Paolo Ordoino. We also have a ton of other things to look at here. Okay. This is Jack, blockchain philosopher. Okay. One more thing. That looks like Ben Shapiro. Is that Ben Shapiro? Dude, tell me that didn't look like Ben Shapiro from a little distance here. A little Benny guy. Okay. One more thing about Bo Hines and USAT that not everyone noticed. USAT, Tether's new stablecoin, is being promoted as the one that will comply with US regulations. This means that USDT, the largest stablecoin, is not and will not be compliant with current US regulations. And yet Tether continues to operate. I don't know. And CEO Paolo Ordoino continues to be invited to the White House as a prominent guest. What does it mean? Until recently, Bo Hines worked at the White House as digital director of the Council of Advisors on Digital Assets. Now, Bo Hines has joined Tether's management team and has become CEO of its US-based company. That's correct. This means that he has become the White House's man inside. White House's man inside Tether, excuse me. It also means that Tether is America's asset and will act in the interest of the current White House administration. I mean, yeah. In fact, this means that Tether through USDT will operate as a branch of a decentralized Fed 2.0 system. First, it mints USDT out of thin air, then it buys bonds, generating demand for them and helping the US Treasury manage its debt. Yeah. In this way, the Trump administration will conduct the process of decentralizing the Fed, something I wrote about in my May analysis. I mean, decentralization is not the right word. Again, going back to Gandhi, let's put the comment back up on the screen. It's already on the screen still. Tether has a freeze/pause button, just like World Liberty Financial, guys. There's nothing decentralized about that. Nothing. Okay? Let's move on. So we covered Tether. Insane things happening there. Stay tuned to see what happens, just how interesting the USAT launch will be. I mean, if it works, great. You know, I don't know what chain they're using to make this happen, transactions and all this stuff. If Tether, is it, you know, it's we'll see, we'll read more into it, but we have to on the stream get to other things right now because there's Tether, Hyperliquid has their own stable coin, and so does Metamask now, guys. This is all within the last 3 days. Okay, this is potentially tons of liquidity coming to the space. So 22 hours ago, Native Markets officially claims Hyperliquid's USDH stablecoin ticker. Okay. So the project will deploy the inaugural Hyperliquid improvement proposal for USDH and an ERC20 token, the token standard for the Ethereum network in the coming days. Max Feig, founder of Native Markets, said in an X post. He also outlined the next steps. Quote unquote, we will then start with a testing phase for mints and redeems up to 800 per transaction, with an initial group to be followed by the opening of the USDH USDC spot order book, as well as uncapped mints and redeems. Absolutely crazy, guys. And what a surprise. ETH was chosen as a network. Doesn't surprise me. Native Markets odds of winning the ticker spiked to over 99% on Saturday on Polymarket, following synthetic stablecoin issuer Athena's withdrawal from the race on Thursday. Very interesting, Athena. Athena was, I want to say, hyped a lot 12 or so months ago. A lot less too, but I'm surprised I haven't really seen much about Athena again, considering this news with Hyperliquid. Why don't we pull up real quick, why don't we just pull back up Coinbase and take a look at, oh my gosh, guys. Okay, why don't we do this? Take a look at Hyperliquid. So if you don't know Hyperliquid, this thing has come onto the scene in a big way. It hasn't even been a year, guys. December 9th it launched. So 330% since then. Now, let's go to Athena. Athena, kind of something similar. So Athena is in the top, what is it? What are we in the top 50 here? Look at this, guys. Athena's been around since 2024 of April last year, so a little over a year, and it's down all time. Up 200% on the year, though. That's great. Still down all time, though. But on this news, Athena is kind of just hanging out. Not even a 5 billion market cap. Just around it. Athena is a synthetic dollar protocol built on Ethereum that provides a crypto native solution for money, USDE, alongside a globally accessible dollar savings asset, SUSDE. ENA is the governance token for the Athena protocol. ENA holders can vote biannually to elect members to a risk committee, and in the future, additional committees performing critical roles in the ecosystem. Interesting. But I haven't seen, a big Athena community. Again, if you go on YouTube and just check the sentiment on, Athena, not a lot. 4 hours ago, we have people starting to make videos now because of this interesting news. I guess this guy might be an Athena guy. Okay. Rise of Athena 10 months ago, 7 days ago. This is the founder. I guess someone had a Ethereum founder. This is interesting. I would give this a watch. Hour-long podcast with the Athena founder. Is Athena the next Luna? That's an interesting take. But again, 7 months ago, guys. 1 year. 1 year. Right? We're seeing a lot of videos. Now we're seeing some for a couple days. And it seems like there's some channels on Athena, but not a lot. So interesting price action sitting at 71 cents right now. We'll see what happens with Athena, but back to Hyperliquid real quick. Hype has a lot of hype around it, no pun intended, but the USDH bidding war was closely followed by the crypto community and industry executives, leading to accusations of a rigged selection process and reflections on the future of the stablecoin sector as a whole. Yeah. Hyperliquid's bidding war draws criticism and sparks debate. Crypto industry executives voiced mixed reactions to the USDH bidding process and the outcome of the vote, which saw established stablecoin, crypto, and payment firms lose out to a newcomer. Quote unquote, starting to feel like the USDH RFP was a bit of a farce. Managing partner of venture capitalist from Dragonfly said on Tuesday. Yeah, interesting news here, guys. I mean, it's really just, again, to drive it home, it's the battle between these old guys, these old systems that are trying to adapt with the times and convince you to just use their networks, their protocols, as opposed to something like Ethereum or another altcoin. Now, if we go a step further, so Athena becomes the sixth contender for Hyperliquid's USDH stablecoin, pledging to return 95% of reserve revenue to the community, cover migration costs from USDC to USDH, and committed at least 75 million in ecosystem incentives. Very interesting, guys. Now, this is from the CoinDesk. Justin, Metamask has announced their stablecoin MUSD is now live. Let's take a look. This is from Crypto Briefing. This is from today, 3 hours ago. Metamask enters a stablecoin market with launch of USDT pegged MUSD, challenging major players like USDT and USDC. It does. Key takeaways. Metamask, the widely used crypto wallet, has launched its own USD-backed stablecoin named MUSD. The wallet's large global user base could accelerate adoption in a market led by USDT and USDC. Yes. Very interesting news here, guys. The digital asset officially named Metamask USD and trading under the ticker MUSD went live according to an announcement from the company. Metamask, owned by Consensus, serves as one of the most widely used Ethereum wallets with millions of global users. Yes, that's just a fact. Everyone, if you're in crypto, you've heard of Metamask. You've probably used it before, at least once before, or you use it frequently. The launch adds another competitor to the crowded stablecoin space. That is a fact. Very crowded stablecoin space. They're popping up left and right. It's insane. Where Tether's USDT and Circle's USDC currently dominate trading volumes, Metamask's existing user base could provide immediate adoption for the new token. That is true. Now, that's possibly a good thing because Metamask is, not really a centralized company. So these are the forces, and this is the tug and pull that we have been seeing. Ever since Trump took over, things exploded when, November, right, of last year, when he was shot at, everyone went insane, right? He was almost assassinated. Everyone on the news, on Instagram, TikTok, X, doesn't matter, basically was like, oh, that's it. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Kamala's done. Trump won. What did that do? It had an insane effect on the markets. Things like XRP rallied over 300%, still up over 300% of the year. ADA, Doge, all these top blue chip cryptos rallied over 100% on that news. Since then, Trump has kept promises and maybe added things to the mix and went a different direction that nobody expected. For example, they have freaking meme coins. They have World Liberty Financial, Truth Social, all jumping in, starting businesses with his sons. There's so much the Trump family is doing. And it's been a good thing and a bad thing. A bad thing because it's like, bro, you're regulating this shit now. You couldn't have waited a little bit. Now you have politicians on the left speculating if he's doing fraudulent things. And honestly, that's fair for them to question because we all think the same thing. Like, bro, what are you doing here? There's a lot going on. The Genius Act comes out. It's basically written in a certain way to favor specific stablecoins like USDT and like Circle's USDC. And it wasn't as good for algorithmic stablecoins. So that is not the best thing, right? We're happy with Trump. We're happy he's doing a lot to push the space forward. No doubt about it. We're still waiting on a strategic reserve. They're quote unquote not buying any, but they are going to use seized crypto and Bitcoin to start this reserve. And they potentially are going to do the same thing with a quote unquote digital asset stockpile. So that means in the past, Donald Trump mentioned this. He tweeted, he specifically mentioned XRP, Solana, and Cardano. So again, guys, stay freaking tuned. We have Bitcoin ETFs getting approved, XRP ETFs getting approved. There's ADA ETFs, Solana ETFs, Doge, Hedera. There's a lot of ETFs that are waiting to be approved. Paul Atkins, the SEC, could do it by next month. We could see it sooner than that. But there's a million things that are adding up right now that can just scream the entry of a bull market, like the start of something extremely massive that we've all been waiting for. And this is all just kind of happening behind the scenes. Like if you're the average person in crypto, like this might not really grab your attention because you might not understand it. It's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and it's all the future of how this is all going to look and play out is literally unfolding before our eyes. It's pretty wild. So if you want to stay up to date and continue to try to understand what's going on here in the space, this wild, wild west of cryptocurrency, you should probably subscribe to us on YouTube. And you should probably follow us on X, because I'm always going live 5 days a week for you guys, talking about things like this and giving you the rundown. If you don't have time for this, then lean on me, okay? Because I do. So make sure to sub, guys. I appreciate you for tapping in. This is the Coin Zone. I'm Crypto with Paul. I'll be back again soon, but until then, I appreciate you for tapping in. Let me know in the comments if you would ever use USAT, right? Tether's new stablecoin, or if you're on, you know, the decentralized aspect and you actually want to jump into DeFi and use this space for the principles that crypto and decentralization offers, then let me know as well. But again, I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Make sure to sub and like this video. I'll see you guys next time.